Beautiful morning. The mountains nestled in the clouds over there. We are only at about 6,400 feet, so we're a little surprised to see snow so close to us. The only snow we've really seen has been really far away on really tall mountains. And so I'm not sure how much higher that is than us, a couple thousand feet or something, but we won't be heading up there, I don't believe, because today consists pretty much of just hiking fairly level, little downhill. Tomorrow we'll have a whole bunch of climbing, but we should be past all of this by then, so. You can hear the river down below. We'll be there in a mile or so. I was wrong. We're not going straight to that raging river that we could hear down below. We were going to this nice, small little creek, and we'll hit the river here in a little while. Tiger Lily says that these yellow bushes that are everywhere are called flannel bushes. And they're really kind of amazing. I doubt we're going to be able to see it, but because they're already bloomed. But these flowers, before they bloom, they're like a hard little pod. You can kind of see maybe right in there. And they do not feel soft. They don't feel flower-like. There's the one right there as well. Then they just open up into these beautiful big flowers. Good morning. That is Deep Creek down there. And there's a really cool bridge coming up here. And we'll have to make our way down. There should be a little trail we can get down there and get a little bit of water. Apparently this is a very busy airplane intersection. And 300-mile mark. That means just a little over a ninth of the way there. So every year the PCT changes slightly, and so apparently some of these have been put in the past or recent, who knows. And then, of course, people have this Far Out app that we use to kind of help figure out where water sources are and how far along you are and where the nearest town is and things like that when you're out here. And those, I believe, are more updated, each year, so they'll show like exactly where 300 miles is and all that. But who knows what the actual correct one is. So anyway, oftentimes there are multiple markers. And of course, then you also have the European community and such that will also lay out kilometer markings, 400 kilometers, etc. Even though we didn't really make a whole lot of miles yesterday, it was one of the most beautiful areas that we were in, the pine forest the whole time, and walking along with this creek below us, just off and on through the entire day. And today, shaping up to be a little like that with the deep creek down here. We've been following for a couple of miles. I think we'll follow it at least, bug invasion. We'll follow it at least for another couple of miles, and then we'll see what happens. I'm not sure how long we'll see it. Another bridge spanning Deep Creek. Well, we're coming down to the Deep Creek one more time to get water, but there's also a hot spring down here, so we're gonna go check it out. All right, we're down here. It's the Deep Creek. There's the creek, and it's cold. Gonna get in there and cool off a little bit, and then there's the hot spring there to the right. If it get too cold, jump in there.
Nice to actually see some sun because in Long Beach it's been super blue. Like we'll have.
I do not think I'm gonna stay in here a long time.
And then sunset.
It is freezing.
Which is weird too because.
So we got in here to the cold part and swam over to the falls behind me, you can see. And now, this is the hot spring right here. Comes right out of that little source back there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't tell what's going on here in this camera, but anyway, it's somewhere over there. Hopefully you can see it. And now I'm going to see what it's like. Oh my gosh, it is hot. Like really hot. Hotter than a hot tub you would get in, that's for sure. Woo. Almost had a wipeout. Oh my gosh. That's good. Man, doesn't get better than this. Here we are at the river, or the Deep Creek and the hot spring. What did you like better, the cold treatment or the hot spring treatment?
I like them both. They're both amazing. And my favorite part is the waterfall.
Yeah, me too. It was awesome. It was freezing cold, so got in and our bodies were like half numb, and then got out and got in the hot. This is so incredible out here. This seems to be like the most vast setting yet. Just goes on forever. No way to capture it. And the clouds are gorgeous too. Good morning. We are down at Deep Creek. We stayed here last night, tented right back there between our backpacks, and it was a really nice night. We had to cross the creek way out there. You can't really see it exactly, but we had to cross it. It was waist high, so we had to take our packs off and put them over our head and just wade through the water. Luckily, there were kind of some good information we'd heard, so we knew how to kind of get through there. The creek is pretty deep in some areas. Some people have like gone all the way under apparently, but we were able to walk across and keep it about waist height. Anyway, there are definitely lots of frogs here. We heard bullfrogs all night long, and I would assume that's also what we heard jumping into the water that sound like full-size humans landing, splashing all night long. And the sand was wonderful to sleep on in our tent. But this morning, well, I'll give you a piece of advice. If your shoes are really wet and you are here and you are trying to drain them or dry them out, keep them right side up. Because Tiger Lily kept hers right side up last night. No problem at all. I put mine on some sticks upside down, and this morning when I pulled them out, there were dozens and dozens of cockroaches in them. So I spent a while banging them out and trying to get them away, and So anyway, they're all good. I haven't felt any cockroaches crawling up my legs since I put my shoes on. So I think we're good. All right, we're off today. We're going to try to stay less dehydrated. It was really hot yesterday, and we needed to drink more. A whole bunch of little tiny toads, or maybe frogs, out here in the desert. This little tiny area here. I don't think you're probably getting to see any of them, but hopefully. This little guy's just sunning himself. It has really gotten hot today, and so for the first time in a couple of weeks we're putting up the umbrellas, and we're also carrying extra water. It's only about 8 miles to the next water, but that would normally be, maybe 2 liters max for us, but it's hot enough. We're going through well more than that, so yeah, we're gonna just try to stay cool. Well, a few minutes ago we hiked out of the hills back there, and then the trail literally went through the parking lot of that California State Environmental building and took us onto this highway that we have to hike on for about a half mile. And then we should head back into the hills again over here. I believe that mountain with snow on it up there is Baden-Powell, which after we leave Wrightwood is the mountain that we will hike over. It's really still super hot out here, and we just came out and came right over the ridge here, or and saw Silver Lake. All these people out having a good time on the weekend. But we're gonna hike on past through and into the mountains. Well, we came out onto the lake back under those big power lines that are way back there, and we've been hiking all the way around the side. Now we've turned and we're hiking the other direction around the rest of the side, and about 2 miles up here there's a picnic area that has bathrooms with running water, which might not seem like that big of a deal, but it's a huge deal. We're thinking there might be a place to dump some of our trash, and oh my gosh, use a bathroom with running water to go in and fill up our water jugs, and also to just wash your face, your hands. It'll be nice. So we're looking forward to that here soon. We found a great place to tent last night and got a good night's sleep. And today we'll be heading into El Cajon, get some McDonald's. So we got in a mile this morning before the sun even came up, and then another mile, maybe slightly more right now. Well, it's not too hot, but you can tell it's going to be a cooker again today. So we're trying to get as far as we can, as quick as we can. We've got a little water coming up here soon. We'll drink up a whole bunch, fill up. We'll have to carry for about 8 miles, in which time it will be getting hotter and hotter, so that'll kind of stink, but we'll be able to get rid of some of that water, imbibe some of it before before it gets too hot. And then once we get to the water, another 8 miles from here, then we'll only be about 1.5 miles from the highway where some of the services are, convenience store, McDonald's, gas station stuff. So this has been a beautiful day so far, and a beautiful Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to everybody. Happy Father's Day to my dad. And we'll see what this day holds for us. Well, we're on our way. It's hard to see, but there's a train over there. That train is not moving, but another train just came through, heading off to the right. So those train tracks will go on for a long ways over the mountains here. And actually we will be, roughly that direction is where Cajon Pass is, where we'll stop and eat lunch at McDonald's and all that later. We will kind of weave around this direction for a while and then head that direction for a long time today, and then eventually kind of cut back down and be around over that direction. And after we do that, sometime this afternoon when it cools down a little bit and we leave and get back on the trail, we will continue on that direction and we will cross those railroad tracks, I believe. So we'll catch that later. It's just chilling out. Doesn't want to move out of the way. Well, we stopped in at McDonald's. Stayed there way too long, a couple hours at least. And went to the convenience store next door, got a little bit of stuff to get us through. Now we're heading back out of town. We got to cross underneath this highway, and we'll hike on. Hello! Your turn. Woo! Hey!
Wow, wow.
Gotta do it louder. I guess when you run into a populated area, they have to figure out how to get you through it. And this is their solution for this area. Woo! It's morning. Good morning. So, just the video 2 seconds before this was this exact same spot. The tent was right there next to Tiger Lily. And I went up that way and you could see the mountains with the clouds above them. And I went over here and you could see clouds that were kind of reddish. This was just 20 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, I don't know. Then I went over here and there were mountains all there, and since then, the clouds have just blasted in and it has gotten a lot colder, so we are on the move. It's been nice hiking in the fog this morning. It stayed really cool, which is really a godsend because, as I think I mentioned a couple of times already, we have 17 miles to go today before we get to any water, so we are carrying a bunch of water, but this means we'll need even less water because it's just nice and cool. We're not sweating, so we'll be able to get quite a ways today, hopefully, before it does start to get hot and we start to use up all our water. So that should help us stay safe. We've been hiking about an hour and a half, and we're doing great, feeling good. Just about 10 minutes back, we hiked out of the clouds, the sun came back, it was hot and scary and made us wish for more clouds, and boom, more clouds. They're kind of blowing in, and we were going a little higher. And anyway, luckily we're in the clouds again, so I don't know if it'll last 10 minutes or 2 hours, but we're happy for it. I hope we get a little further before it starts cooking. I think the clouds are gone for good. You can even see some like the highway from yesterday way back there. Everything, so anyway, I'll start heating up from here. One of the things I don't think I mentioned while I've been talking about, kind of setting up what's going on today, is that along with not having any water for 17 miles, having to carry for 17 miles, and we are climbing a lot. I think the biggest climb we've done so far. So yesterday at the McDonald's, that highway was around 3,000 feet. We're going to be climbing to about 9,000 feet. So we did just, I don't know, maybe 500 feet yesterday from the time we left the McDonald's to where we tented. And we've done about another 1,500 feet today. So we will be doing at least a mile of ascent today, which, is fairly gradual, but it's constant the entire day. And probably the biggest issue is we'll be going from 3,500 feet to 8,000 or 9,000 feet where we stay tonight. So we'll definitely feel that in the lungs as we get higher, a little less oxygen. And 9,000 feet's not tremendously high, but it is high enough that some people feel some altitude sickness issues, usually on a minor scale, if at all. So we'll have to see if we get any of that. Need to stay really hydrated. That'll help a lot. Make sure we rest when we need to, and just pay attention to dizziness and stomach sickness and anything that can warn us to slow down, take it easy. Rattlesnake in the middle of the road. Well, he's all hyped up. Warning, and then they just move right off instead of standing their ground. Well, that was cool. Well, we've been climbing for a couple more hours. This is what that view that I videoed earlier looks like now. Crazy. And here's one more view from a couple hours later. Looks pretty different, but you can see a few similar things off in the distance, and the road and the two highways. Quite a ways up here. We're approaching 8,000 feet. Well, we're high enough, we're back in the pine trees now. So that's nice. It smells wonderful, and we're getting pretty close to some of the snow. I suspect we won't see any this side of the mountain though. So we may have to wait until we come out of Wrightwood in a day or two and look then. In the meantime, nice to be back in the forest.
I've never seen one of those.
Bighorn sheep off in the distance. Well, we got to the water source. We made it our 17.2 or whatever miles. We survived that. And here we come across some snow. So this is the first real snow we've seen on this mountain. A couple of really small dirty patches earlier. Anyway, kind of ridiculous. We hauled all that water up today, and because of the clouds and because of the shade and because of the cool temperatures up here at the top, we did not use up all of our water that we carried. So we're going, instead of staying out here tonight the way we planned, we are going to go into town, the town of Wrightwood, tonight instead of tomorrow, which will be really awesome. It means we'll get to, get something to eat and all that stuff. But anyway, so we've got another 5 miles to hike, but we didn't have to go down to the water source to get more water. We have just barely enough to get us to the highway where we can hitch into Wrightwood. So anyway, saves us a little bit of time, but also means, we had to, I had to carry an extra, whatever, about 3 pounds of water all day, which would have been nice to not carry. But hey, better than dying. There's Highway 2. So we did our 22-mile day, climbed 5,500 or 6,500 feet, something anyway. And it was a killer. Ready to get into town, figure something out, recover.